Hello, everybody, and we are back. I hope we are back. I hope that you can see us and that you can.
And on YouTube, it's not working at all from my side. I'm testing on the computer, on the phone. I don't see anything.
Yeah, me neither.
This is such
I
a
mean,
shame. We have such an
I
important guest
yeah,
with so
it's just
many answers today, and we definitely have to use it also for our community, not only for ourselves. To get answers to the questions that they have and that I have.
yeah. I'm just checking. I mean, it looks like the Facebook is working just like really, really with a big delay.
Okay, we have now something from YouTube. Do you see it?
Yeah. Oh, it looks like
Joga
it's okay
says,
now.
unfortunately, it keeps buffering on my side. But Francisco, hi everyone. Do you see us? Are we loud and clear? Or just,
It looks
popping
like
up?
we are live for 2 or 3 seconds and then we go into buffering again. Yeah,
Buffering
So
for me
definitely.
too.
Crypto Cyborg is saying that it works fine.
The Big Did says buffering for me too.
Yeah,
My
and
my
also on
my YouTube
um,
is the same.
Discord, we also have people saying it's not working.
So it looks
Probably
like
the problem
something maybe wrong with the
with the
restream.
restream, yes.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's possible. Okay, we do see that you are on YouTube, but are we on? That is the main question now. Hello, dear community. Do you see us? Do you hear us?
Okay,
Are we
Satoshi
buffering?
says also that it looks okay.
No, it's
Uh,
working.
Big Did says it's worth buffering. Okay, now mine is working also again.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear myself.
Let's hope it will stay this way.
Okay, are we on?
I think it might work.
Now it's working. Yeah, they're saying, okay, if it won't be working, please let us know. I can see you now. Okay. I'm so glad that this happened right now. In the right room.
Finally.
We just had to call Rock on, and now everything is fine. So, tada, this is our guest today. Surprise guest. Rock, hello again. Now that we are officially here, Sandi
Yeah.
and Rock, hello and welcome.
Hello,
Hello.
for
We
the
are in the
10th time.
we just have to stay positive because when we're positive, then everything is working. Look at this. Now we have comments, we have people coming on. That's what we wanted. And of course, now I will start with the subject that we are here today for. Sandi, you were starting something earlier. You were talking about where we are right now, what is happening, and then we had some problems with the stream. Maybe it would be okay if you finished it, if you just in a couple of sentences tell us how we are doing, and what is happening right now, and then we will go to Rock and have some questions for him.
I need to change my name. My name is strangely Anita right now.
Okay, this is the first thing that you will do. So you are
Yeah, that's
Sandy.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, look, where was I? So, what's new? Oh my, that's so many things are actually new. Most of the things that we are doing right now, it's on marketing, it's on setting everything up for the token launch. We're speaking to a lot of launch pads and to some exchanges, and you met Dominic on the last call, so he's handling most of those things, and we're making really good progress on that side. But we still need to do a bit more on marketing, and we're changing a bit the narrative. We are adding some new features to our 3R platform, adding some additional stuff from DeFi and some financial services that will be offering to everybody that we are connecting. And there are some things that are not really confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure that we'll go into a let's say the things that are really hot right now in the crypto space. And for sure, what we are also doing is we are going into the NFT space, and what we're doing is developing a system where you can use a NFT that will enable you to get access to the internet through our platform. So, and I'm pretty sure that Rock can tell us just a bit more about this on the technical side. Um, what we are also doing is there's a lot of stuff happening right now in Dubai. It's almost every day there is a conference or something like that, where we managed to acquire a partnership with African Chamber of Digital Commerce. So in the next few weeks, there will be a lot of coming from there. So I already got confirmed a few really high level introductions, and yeah, I was speaking to a partner, a big one, starts with a G today, and let's see, there might be something that we can combine some of our technologies also. I'll be updating you on that one in the next week or two, probably. So it's a lot of stuff. Even after this, so it's 8 p.m. Past 8 p.m. Where I am. So I right after this, I still have two 1 hour meetings planned. So it's like it's going from morning till evening.
Working. It sounds exciting. So thank you, Sandi, for this update, just in a short way, of course. And thank you, David, and everyone else who is giving us feedback that we are okay, the picture quality, the sound, everything is okay. So thank you very much for this information. We have Rok Mihailovic Krpan here today, Head of Development in 3Air. Rok, we are really happy to have you here because these days we are hearing lots of FUD from the side of Metamask and their services not being accessible in Venezuela. And we will, of course, get some information now from you. How did this happen? Can it happen to any one of us? And so on and so on. But, for starters, we will be talking about this decentralization, and it's very important also in the blockchain and crypto space. Could you just tell us, Rok, what it actually is and why is it so important?
Yeah. Okay. So hi everybody again. So let's talk about decentralization. So when you hear about blockchain or when somebody talks about blockchain or anything like this, everybody talks about decentralization. They want the most decentralized blockchain. They want the highest level of it that's possible. So what what people don't expect usually is that at the end there's always some point or some centralized API that's connecting everything together. The Ethereum, the blockchain, you have multiple nodes, they span around the world. This is what the true decentralization is. So there are multiple nodes, any node can crash and the blockchain will stay online. You can cut the whole country off and the blockchain will stay. So your data will be safe, your funds will be safe, everything is okay. But the problem with, and the main idea when the blockchain was created was everyone could run a node at their home. So if you have a spare computer, you have basically anything, you can run a part of that blockchain yourself. So you're independent, you're not dependent on anyone else. You can just create your own node, connect to the network, be able to send transaction, have everything by you. So, and after some time this became a big problem because the blockchain is it's really growing in size. I mean, every transaction you do needs to be saved. That's the whole point of the blockchain. But as you can imagine, when you make millions of transactions per second, and with the rise of the decentralized apps and everything, this is really huge amount of data. So it can't be saved on a basic home computer of somebody. So what engineers and programmers and everybody wanted to do to enable these people that are not able to host their own node to make some centralized API. okay, we are going to create a node, we are going to host it, and you can just connect to our services. So with this idea in mind, the Infura was created. So Infura is like, they run a full Ethereum node, so they have the whole connection to the network. And what they added the APIs, the different indexers and everything. So they said, okay, here is our URL, and everybody can use it to connect to the blockchain without having to host their own nodes, which is like perfect, which would be perfect, because I don't know, you don't need to host the chain. You can use the Infura app on your mobile phones. You can use it on laptops anywhere. And but the only problem with this is that once Infura goes down, you can't connect to the blockchain anymore. So effectively, if Infura decides to like whitelist or blacklist some IPs or disable their services for some country, like what happened now because they made a mistake, everybody that was connecting to them is like instantly loses the whole connection to the blockchain. They can't connect it to them anymore. So yes, you have multiple RPCs. You can connect to different providers like Infura. I mean, they're not the only one, of course, but you have the MetaMask. The Infura is the default. So when Infura goes down, like you lose the connection to the blockchain. Like it is the same like someone would come and cut your cable to the internet. Like there's nothing you can actually do about it. So
This
this
is
is kind of the problem that happened now with the Venezuela and MetaMask, because you have multiple RPCs, you have multiple connections that you can make, but it's complicated process for some standard user, and you're always relying on some centralized service.
So you said, Rok, they made a mistake. That was the reason for the cut.
I mean, this is the official reason. I mean, we can't know exactly what happened or where was the mistake, because like if we have some access control list that block that who can access the service, it can like happen in, I don't know, somebody clicks somewhere missing, or somebody wants to change something and just places a ladder somewhere or comma somewhere and the config is not working. So it can be like a mistake, it can be intentional, you can't know. The point is that while everybody thinks that how decentralized everything is, at the end you're still reliant on one service that if they go down, you're like offline.
Yeah, so it was a kind of mistake. So yeah, that's the original and official, and I think it was a mistake because I don't know why they would really, cut off Venezuela and then just put it back on. Nobody was actually talking about that the Infora and MetaMask weren't working before in the countries that are under sanctions. So Iran, Iraq, and all those countries that are on the list of the blocked U.S. list. They weren't operational there, and just now because it was going into Venezuela, now everything is blown out of proportion, like it's happened now for the first time. And of course it is a concern while we are talking about decentralization and nobody is in control and there is no single point of failure. It's kind of true, but it's also not true. So if you know what you're doing, if you're a software developer and so on, and you know this stuff, so you can always access the services. It's not that they're not there, they're still there. But if you're a user that relies on an application or something like that, then you probably won't be able to access it because you don't know how you actually need to do it.
Yeah, I
And
mean, we
now
don't. The,
thinking, yeah.
yeah, the MetaMask. I mean, it doesn't have some like redundant links by default. It's like once they switch you off. I mean, you need to like a normal user doesn't understand, or I mean, they could, but like a normal user, you don't go out. You search for the RPCs. You don't find the URLs. You don't search for full nodes. I mean,
Well, to be
No,
honest,
no,
it's not so hard to do. So what you need to do,
yeah,
and I think that a lot of MetaMask users know that they can add additional networks. So once you are adding an additional network, it's just the difference in the URL that you need to put in. So you need to search that URL, and then you just connect to another RPC. So instead of Infura, everybody now was connecting to Alchemist, I think. So that's another node, but it's again a centralized node. So if they want to shut it down, also they can. I think the only way that you can really always access it if you run your own nodes. That's but that's
yeah,
troublesome. I don't think people will do it. For me, it looks like, if you imagine that blockchain is this like a huge, let's say huge city, you have only one door that you need to go through. So if somebody closes that door, then you cannot enter.
And it is normal for us who are not so acquainted with this that we are panicking or are asking questions or doubting or asking, what about what is now? What about security? Is that normal? Of course it is, I think.
Yeah, I think that's in the human nature, and I think a lot of people like to spread the fear and doubt and so on. Of course, it happens. Although there was never a question of security, to be honest. So it's not that somebody was kind of seizing your funds or not allowing you to access your wallet or something like that. You need to know that MetaMask is actually not your account, so that nobody took your account or prevented you, from accessing it. It's just it's a tool that you use to access your account, and you can use many different tools. So you could always use the seed phrase and just import it to another wallet, and you would be able to access funds from wherever, also from the countries that were blocked there. And so that was never a question of security in that regard.
Thank you very much for explaining that. I'm not really good at this field. I must admit, this is not something that I know a lot about. But I went to read a couple of things about decentralization because, of course, I want to learn. Maybe there are more of us who would like to learn. And what I read, was that there is always a battle between security and performance. And it says that the more a blockchain scales up, the more secure it usually becomes, but the performance may suffer. What does that mean?
yeah. It's usually because you have like it's one of the theorems that you can like only pick 2 out of 3 options. Because once you're like scaling a blockchain, like when you have, I don't know, 2 or 3 nodes, it's easy to connect them. Like they know about each other and they can, I don't know, one node gets the data, it can immediately send it to other two, and that's it. But once you scale it up to like a global scale, you need to handle like synchronization, because synchronization between them, because let's say user A sends funds and one part of the world, and then another user, let's say with the same wallet, sends the same funds at the other side of the world. So these 2 transactions can't happen at the same time, or I mean they can't happen. And you like need to synchronize everything. And now when you go into the distances, like it's not you everybody is used from the games or from videos and everything that you like get instant response and that you have a latency or ping of, I don't know, 10 milliseconds or 50 milliseconds. But once you scale this up to the world scale, like I mean, even from the if you want to make a connection from the Europe to the Africa, like for example our offices in Sierra Leone, this is like 300 milliseconds ping. This is like 30 times what the usual users are used to. So you get a problem because there are many computers that need to know everything about each other. So that's when we come to the part that once you submit a transaction, it needs to propagate to the whole network. Every node needs to know about it. Everyone needs to know what happened, and after that your actual transaction is confirmed, which is of course much more safe, because it's better to like have a million nodes say that you made the transactions than to hack 3 of them, because of course it's much easier to hack 3 servers than to hack a whole planet. But it comes, as you said, in an expense to performance.
Okay, so now as a beginner, again, I have another question. Is it possible to prevent this in a way, let's say that we're talking about 3Air and 3Air's wallet. Is it possible to prevent it or to, have more security with more wallets, or is that even necessary?
I mean, the actual security is not a problem at the end because you still have your private key by you. I mean, the private key at this point in time, until we have some quantum supercomputers or anything, you can't break the private key. For
Yeah.
now, I mean, it would take some million years to break it with our computers. So in the matters of security, you're safe. Like if you sign, if you press the button, I confirm that I want to send $20 to user B. This is safe. Like it's 100% sure that you pressed it. So it's not a problem with this. It's not a problem in the other blockchains. It won't be a problem in our blockchain. So mm, I don't think there is a problem with security.
Okay, that's very important, because this is what people were asking a lot also in the community. What does that mean? And okay, security is not the issue here. If you have any more questions.
Just
Yeah,
I'll jump in a bit. So, you were asking about the blockchain trilemma, and there is the problem with security and scalability, and that's actually not what happened with MetaMask at all. So this was not at all connected to blockchain, to be honest. So it was beyond blockchain. It was just connecting to the blockchain. So there is a service that you need to use. So from that side, because before we were talking about that, that's not at all connected in any way to blockchain security. But to maybe expand a bit on what Rok was saying, it's not only about that. The data needs to propagate and so on. The problem that comes up is also that. There needs to be all the computers needs to store all the data, so and they need to process the transaction, and the chain can always be only as fast as its slowest node. So if you allow to connect all nodes, everybody can run a node and connect to the network, then eventually you will limit the number of transactions per second that you have, and you'll also limit the number of nodes that can actually have the whole blockchain saved. The Solana is one of the really nice ones to look at it. With the 50,000 transactions per second that they can do and so on. I think that they're creating 4 petabytes of data each year. So, and that needs to be stored, and then each node in the network needs to store that. So you can imagine that at one point you just cannot store so much data anymore. It just becomes too expensive. You need to have like a house of hard disks or whatever storage you're using to just store all the data that's from the blockchain. So this is where then centralizations come into play, because you cannot allow everybody to run a node anymore, because it'll slow down your network. So you can only allow people that are validators that really have really good computers, like almost supercomputers to run it. And then effectively that limits the number of nodes that you can have. So in that regards, you then are not decentralized fully anymore.
Okay, now Rok, you are the head of development in 3Air. Of course, decentralization and stuff that we're talking right now is one of the subjects, but tell me, what else do you do?
okay, so we're doing there are like a lot of fronts that we're building on right now. As the Sandi said before, we are implementing the NFTs. We are what we're trying to do is like have an NFT be an actual monthly internet subscription or daily or something. So you can like buy NFT, send it to somebody, or I don't know, redeem it by yourself. And like we're trying to make this connection. Then on the other front, we're dealing with the digital identities, because when we were still when we still wanted to build on the Cardano, we had the option to use the AtalaPrism, which is already built. But now, as we switch to another chain, we decided we are going to build the whole system by ourselves. I mean, we are still going to follow the standards as the V3C standard is out for the digital identities, but there are like some some complications that come with it. I mean, you need to store it somehow. I mean, on the blockchain from the digital identities, you don't like store the whole identity on the blockchain. You just like you store the signatures of them or IDs of them. The actual your how to say your digital ID is saved on your phone or some device. So what we're now trying to do, like when the digital ID is stored on the device, there is a problem that if you lose your phone, it's like losing your ID. You're instantly without it. So what we're trying to do is like make a backup option that you can save it somewhere or send it to someone, and also like keep the security. So of course we don't want somebody else to run around with your personal data and your IDs. So like we're heavily invested on this front. And there's also another front with the new wave of the pre-sale opening. We want to make some things better. We want to improve some things. We want everything to go smooth as possible. So like we have multiple fronts open and we're working on all of them.
Okay. Now, Sandi, how are you satisfied with Rok and his performance, and how are you cooperating?
No, Rock is just doing an amazing job. So it's really a pleasure working with Rock. Before, when I was doing similar things, usually what the problem is explaining to the developers what you actually want. So you're explaining them something, and then they do something, and it's something totally opposite, or you forget to mention one thing, and then it's just not there, although it should be, and it's like it's clear, that it not needs to be there, but you didn't explicitly say, and then it's not. So there are so many things, and yeah, Rob just he really knows the project in depth, and we kind of really go along with each other, and we don't need to explain everything into detail, and everybody knows what he needs to do. So yeah, that's it. It's how it should be.
Rok, you are very young, aren't you? I mean, have all these skills as a developer and a lot of experience already, but you're young.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I started really early, got into a great company, got a great deal of experience, like building the whole telecom solutions from the start. So I was like dropped into water and like said, okay, swim now.
And
I
you
think
did.
Rock should tell us a bit more about himself.
Yeah, yeah. I would really like to know, where did you get the experience and this enthusiasm? Because you have to have it to do that.
Yeah, okay. So if I like start from the beginning, like I always liked the computers. I mean, as you said, I'm a lot younger, so from the beginning, I had the technology, I had the whole computers, mobile phones, everything. It existed when I was born. So I liked everything. I mean, I started with programming when I was, I think, 11 or 12 years old, something like this, when I first found it. So, and then I just like it expanded. I learned about the servers, I learned about the network, I learned everything I could about the programming. There were a lot of challenges always because there were always some games, some websites, some things that you wanted to develop, improve. Like, I don't know, there was a game, Minecraft, that probably everyone knows. It's a highly extensible game. Like, I learned half of the programming from it because, there was something that you wanted to have and it didn't exist. And there were two options: either you won't have it or you're going to make it yourself. So I wanted to have it. And yeah, after that, I went to the high school, joined some robotics projects, went to, I think, four Robocop World Cups. So we went there, then continued in the, what is it called, to the college, which I still have to completely finish, but some projects have priority over this. And yeah, then we started to work with the K for Telecom and everything, and we had to develop like multiple things. Like we had one TV solutions, but we needed like something better. Like you know, from the work. We don't live in a world of linear TV anymore. You don't like put an antenna out to the roof and like that's the TV. Like we wanted to go one step further in Africa and everything. We wanted to have video on demand. We wanted to have time shift so you can watch series for like I don't know from a week before. I don't know. We wanted APGs. We wanted digital boxes. So like we made a software for this, which I mean I was there from the beginning, so I had a lot of opportunities to learn and like be on the real projects. I mean, once you start, it's really problematic to start and get the experience if nobody allows you to work with actual equipment. Like you know the telecom. I mean, if you want just like make some basic programs or something, you can do it at home. But if you want to work with like some big routers or servers or something, that's the equipment that costs I don't know $100,000 or $200,000. You can't like test it from home. You need a telecom, you need a company to support it and everything. So yes, it was 50% luck and 50% dedication. So something like this.
Look, there is another thing that, you know, Anita, you don't know Rock so well as I do, but I'm pretty sure that Rock has some good stories from Sierra Leone where when they were setting everything up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I and one of my colleagues were the first word. We actually set up the whole Sierra Leone like our testing ground, our project. We came there without like we had equipment on the ship there, but we came there. We went over the whole Sierra Leone. We watched the hills. We watched the towers. I don't know. We had to decide where to put everything. It's a really special experience. Like when you go first time into Africa to do something, I mean, if you're not from Africa, if you're from the Europe or somewhere like this, it's like a complete shock. The different people, the experience and everything, and like I don't know. I said we built a telecom. We came there. We said, okay, we want this tower and we want this tower. Okay, we're gonna build something there. And then we said, okay, we need to have internet. We need to pull the cables where they come from the sea. We need to connect there. We need to connect the people. And like they come there. They don't expect it. I mean, they are used to like mobile phones and they have I don't know 3 gigabytes per month. That's like it's like wow. We have. I bought a 5 gigabyte packet, and then we come and we say like, okay, you get 5 megabits and you have unlimited internet. And everyone is like, what unlimited? No, what's the limit? There must be a limit. Like people are not used to like having unlimited internet. So yeah, we built the whole Sierra Leone from the ground up,
From
and
this
then we expanded it. Yeah,
amazing story, Rok. You have already so many amazing stories and experiences, of course. But I do have a personal question, if you don't mind. You know, they said that
yeah.
people who are working in IT and working on the projects and stuff like that, that they're pretty much introverts. Are you like that?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
this is kind of a standard.
really?
Yeah.
Because
Apparently, I'm also so.
you are, but I don't have that feeling, with you people. There are really some people who don't even like to communicate and uh, I don't know, answer questions, but I'm talking
That's
about them.
probably because of the AMA.
Is that
We
something
like to answer questions on development.
oh yeah, the subject. Okay, Rok, but I did have to ask you a little bit about you and your life, because we would really like to know more, and I hope you don't mind.
Oh, no problem.
I have one. I hope I can show this. So this is something that
Yeah,
the team is actually working on right now. So we do have the TV app there, and that's actually run directly from Sierra Leone. Let me see.
yeah. This is the TV app
It's
that I
from
talked
Sierra.
about before.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of TV stations there, and actually I can put up the sound. I think.
That has demonstrated
Yeah.
such disregard for their lives. The civilians who were able to
That's
escape
that's
yesterday through one
the
of those
time
corridors
shift.
from Sumy to
And you're
Moldova
from before.
in Ukraine
Yeah.
shows that this is possible.
Okay.
But it
But it's like
Wow.
this is already there operational, but on the TV boxes and everything, and we're now shifting stuff to the app, right?
I mean, you think about that the blockchain is complicated until you start working with TV channels. And then you learn that the blockchain is nothing.
And the good thing is that those things are actually running from within our own network. So what you don't need is you don't need to use the actual internet for this.
Oh, wow.
Okay, if you're outside the network, of course you need.
I mean,
it, right?
if you're outside, of course you need. But if you're in Sierra Leone or anywhere where we actually will give our service, if you're connected to our network, you don't need outside internet. It's not counting toward your limit.
Rok, this is great job. Great work.
So this was
Wow.
now live. It's
Yeah.
working.
This is like, yeah.
Amazing.
I mean,
We have
you can see the delay because I guess you're in Dubai, where it's still a bit of delay until you get to Sierra Leone, but
It's running direct from Sierra Leone, yes.
yeah, it's directly from their service. So this is live TV from there.
we have a question. I'm sure you will know more about it than I will. I will just read it, okay? So if you are building a DID solution by yourself, shouldn't you integrate into or work with AtalaPrism? Or will you coexist then, and won't this be a little bit confusing for the people?
Yeah, the whole situation with digital IDs at the moment, it's like we're still in a phase where there are multiple technologies, and we'll see who comes out at the top, or I mean, not even at the top. It will probably depend on the country also, because AtalaPrism, they're like focused on some specific sector, and they're focused on Cardano and everything. It's not like they are the golden standard and the whole world will use them or something. It's kind of like the blockchains. I mean, we can't say that some blockchain is the top, that all others are useless or something. There are multiple technologies. They all have their like specifics, their good points, their bad points. It all depends on the use case. I mean, we of course will all focus on the things that we need for our system. So we need the users. We need to connect them. I mean, of course, we need their digital IDs, like basic things, but we're also focused on the things that the telecoms need or something. Atala is, I think, mostly focused on some educational parts to get like your diplomas or something.
It's actually it's kind of broad also. The problem right now is that it's still not functioning. So we are still applied to the Prism
We're
pioneers.
still,
Yeah,
we are in pioneers
nothing is
problem.
moving there right now. So it's just waiting. You never know when it's gonna be live actually.
Yeah, I mean,
But in the end, it's a standard. So there is the decentralized identity standard, and then there is the verifiable claims standard. So these two are actually standardized, and yeah, it is a proposed standard. Let's say it like this. It's still
it's not yet confirmed. Yes.
yeah, in the proposal, but it looks like it's gonna be, and it once it's just the data structure. The data needs to be structured the correct way, because those verifiable claims needs to be uniform, so that everybody can read it actually, and everybody can use it. It doesn't matter where the digital identity was issued. Everybody can actually read it because it's a standard, and it needs to be machine readable. So you need to get a question from an app, and you need to get an answer back, and the app needs to understand the question. So that's why it's really, really important. And it's good that those standards are actually laid out pretty well. It's just you can integrate them in a few different ways, and it doesn't need to be a public blockchain. It doesn't need to really be a blockchain at all to integrate them. So you can run it like from private also. And there, as said, there are other things that you need to think about beyond that. what that are not really laid out, and that's mostly it's about the custody, because you are now in control of your identity, and you need to take care of it. So you're also responsible of losing it or not. If you then switch your phone, so how will you get it to your new phone if it's stored on the phone? Because it's your private data, so it needs to be stored on some device that you can access. And we really don't want to people be dealing with their private keys. So this needs to be, in a sense, managed, so that you don't feel that you have a private key that you need to remember or store somewhere or something like that. And phones are for sure something that are really, really good for this, because you can store your phone actually in that the phones have their own storage inside, that where they store, for instance, the data of your fingerprints, or other biometric data, and you can also store some other things there. And this is what we're looking for. And then also we want to encrypt those private keys with your biometric data, so that even if somebody steals your phone or something like that, they won't be able to access it and use it. And it's a lot of things that you need to think about once you want to develop something like this.
Wow. Rok, how does it feel to be a part or to be someone who's developing something that is going to change people's lives also,
Like I think it's connected to the experience I had when I was in the Africa, but like it's really nice. Like it's giving people something new that didn't have before. I didn't even think they could have. Like they're in Africa, they can just watch the other world advance while they are still there. So it's like really nice to be able to advance these things, or maybe even make Africa more advanced in these terms regarding to the other world, right? I mean, if we're first doing the blockchain there, maybe it will follow in the other parts of the world.
Yeah, wow. Wow, such a mission. I cannot imagine. And to be a part of it, to actually do something, it's really amazing. Rok, about your knowledge.
Can I jump in once more? I
Yeah.
just want to say one thing, and this is 7749.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, who can go on?
Thank you. This was smooth now.
You didn't even try.
I can do this also. So now I need to
Okay.
rewind and listen to it again.
I was reading in community, someone said, just, getting the code is worth being on AMA. So, yeah. Thank you, Sandi, for jumping in. Rok, my question was, did you gain your knowledge education in Slovenia?
I mean, it was like this. I mean, I got most of the knowledge from the internet and from the actual like online anything. Like it didn't really matter when I was in the okay, of course there's the basic education that everyone needs. Of course, you're not going to learn the things that you don't like from the internet. You just need to. But everything regarding the technical knowledge, like I got from the internet, I searched for it. I watched YouTube. I watched Stack Overflow. I watched every social media I found all the blogs that I could, like got everything from there. Because once I was in the high school or in the college, I already had the knowledge that was needed for the fields there, because like I needed in some part in before, like I don't know, maybe you learn something in the like fourth year of the high school. But as I said, I mean, we were at the robotics competitions in the first year, so I couldn't wait for the last year to come to like learn the things. Like you're forced to. If you want to advance, if you want to have some things that others don't have, like you need to do it by yourself.
Mm. And with this, what you're doing right now, you're opening educational possibilities for everyone, let's say from Africa, who wants to learn by themselves, by himself,
Yeah,
Decentralized education, I would say.
This is like really big thing. I mean, the whole knowledge that is available on the internet at the moment, it's like it's amazing. I mean, if you want to become an expert in almost anything, you can definitely do it with the internet if you want. I mean,
Yeah,
it's definitely easier to be a, I don't know, systems engineer or a programmer or something than to be a doctor from the internet. But I mean,
I
if you
can
want
tell
to
you,
go
you can
into
you
like,
can you can learn a lot about that, about health from the internet. It's like crazy how much you can learn actually. The
yeah, I know.
I think the problem right now, what we need to teach our children is actually how to use the internet and how to distinguish, fact from fake news, because the internet is full
Yeah,
of some fake information, and I think that's the the most hardest part right now. So the school system currently is totally outdated. So you don't need to learn any more information, I think. So you need to have the understanding and how to combine and search for information and how to actually then put them in practice. But it doesn't make sense to learn anything by heart anymore, I think. Okay, not anything. You for sure
you
you
need
need
to
to
have the basics. Yeah,
the basics. You need to be, so you need to know so much that you can know where to find more information about it, and how that you have the logic how to put things together.
Yeah, this is the advantage now. I'm a mother, and I still see how my son is, getting this, let's say, learning by heart education in school, and then coming home and searching for other knowledge, and coming to me with everything else, but the things that they may probably learn that day. It's not that everything is bad. It's they're really good stuff also in schools, but getting the knowledge, looking for it, searching. You used to do it in books. You had to had a lot of books or libraries, to go and find information. Now you just have to click, but it's not enough just to go to the internet, but to really know where to find the information. So I think that another part that is very important also for the African people, because they're not so into this right now with all the possibility or non-possibilities that they have with internet, is to actually teach them also how to get to those information. And that is another step, a very important one, educating them, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I do think that we are also missing a bit more financial education in schools, and how to deal with these things. Um, Maybe we
I mean,
can have. Yeah.
I can tell you, I went over the elementary school, high school, college, and there was not a single minute spent on the financial thing. Nothing. It's like we don't live in a world with money. Like we live in, I don't know, villages who trade with, I don't know, meat and something.
It's
So
true.
yeah,
Yeah, and attitude towards money and everything is something that is really missing.
Mm.
And maybe about a blockchain right now, because this is really becoming, not becoming, it is a reality and it's happening. And I see that youngsters don't have any knowledge about it or know much about it unless they go to the internet and search for the information themselves. And luckily, it is available.
yeah. I mean,
There are probably
blockchain is.
some technical educational material in some schools in regards to how it actually works, and the security part and so on. But I don't think that there's any part that's connected to the financial thing that probably everybody should kind of learn at least a bit about.
Yes, I do agree. Rok, I do have another question for you because we are talking about decentralization and I wrote it down, so I'm not going to forget it. From your point of view, how decentralized are the chains right now?
I mean, the basic chains are like most of them are like highly decentralized in this regard. Like if we take the few main chains, let's take the Bitcoin, let's take the Cardano, let's take the Ethereum. By the chain, they're really decentralized. Like I mean, I think there's no problem that somebody would like come and shut down half of them or hack half of them or something like this. In this regard, the actual chain is decentralized. The problem is that your connection to it is definitely not. So it's like we can compare it to the whole internet. The internet is decentralized. Like, I mean, if one provider in the country goes down, or if the whole country goes offline, you still have the internet. I mean, there's no real way to shut down the internet. But there is, I don't know, if there's only one provider in your area, he can easily cut your wire or go offline. So we can definitely compare it to something like this. You know,
Yeah,
there's
well,
always
maybe.
there's always that one entry point that that it can fail, and also like one road to the town. I mean, if there's only one road in, the town is still there, but if you can't access it,
I do think that the major chains are quite decentralized. The thing is that usually how system work is that they tend to go into centralization. So with time, I think it's going to be a problem if there is not a really some good decentralization mechanisms built in. Everything tends to go into centralization. And we'll see how this plays out on the long run, but I'm pretty sure that we'll find really good ways about it. If you then look down a bit more down to other chains that are not like really in the top 10 or even some in the top 10, they become less and less decentralized and more centralized. So we actually have some that are like 100% all centralized, like Ripple. You cannot say Ripple is decentralized, right? So
I mean, if we look at from the actual, let's not from the philosophical side of the decentralization and everything, but if we come from the actual side of usability and everything, you need I'm let's say about how much you need the actual decentralization. Of course, it's needed, but not to a like unlimited point or something. There's a like sweet spot between the performance and decentralization, because what you want with decentralization, of course, is that your funds are safe and that nobody can shut you down. So, and you don't need like whole planet of nodes to do it. Like if you can do it with 1,000 nodes and like make sure that they're distributed and that nobody can shut all of them down, I think from the usability use case, that's kind of enough. Like, I mean, that's the whole point of it. I mean, the point is so you can shut it down. So if you can achieve this with, I don't know, 10 nodes or something like this, I mean, it's okay, you know.
yeah, that's a point for sure.
Well, I'm so glad that I'm getting all this knowledge, on the subject that I never dreamt that I would be learning about. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Anita, we need to get to know you a bit better. So we are there, here every weekend. You're always asking the questions. We don't know anything about you, so I'll put you on the spot next time.
Okay, we will do the special AMA, but no stream anywhere. Okay, the stream won't be working. I'm joking. I don't have problem with that since I am in communication business. So yeah, maybe I'm too extrovert, Rok. So if you have any more questions, dear community, now is the opportunity to ask, because we are coming to the end of this conversation. Another question, maybe Rok, your profiles are, there's a big demand on the profiles that you have. A lot of people searching for head of developments or IT experts. But how do you choose the project that you want to work in?
He can't choose. No. He can't choose.
No, I'm just asking.
I can't choose.
Question.
Sandi forced me. He has my family. I can't do anything.
Oh, so that's how it is.
Yeah, that's a centralized decision. So
okay, but you can answer.
No, yeah. No, it's like, I mean, at the end it matters like what you want to do, what you like feel like doing, and I don't know how to really say it. At the end you end up with like what is nice for you. So it's not like stressful, it's the feel that you want. Like you have some vision what you want to do in the future, like what you want to do with yourself, what you want to do in the world. And if the projects and the ideas align with that, I mean, that's the projects everyone should pick. So
is the team important?
yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't build anything without a team behind you, because, like, you can try, you can do, I mean, you can do a lot of things by yourselves, but at some point you need the team behind you, someone you can like help you or make some decisions with you and things like this. Like, you're not the you're not centralized. You're not like a central point that will decide everything. It's nice to have people behind you that like know what they're doing, help you with the decisions, like have someone who you can explain to. I don't know, you need to do this and this, and that he actually does them. Like, as Sandi said at the beginning, you need to explain to people. Like, it's not to everyone obvious that if you have a web page and you have a user profile, that he needs to make a login page. I mean, some people forget it. They just like make a page, make everything when then you see everything when you're logged in, but they forget to add, like, I don't know, login button.
Yeah.
It's a standard thing. It's not something that's not possible to make. It's definitely possible. I've seen it too many times.
I know. Oh, it was really great to have this conversation with you. We're
I
coming
think there is
to
one more important question that we need to ask in regards to decentralization, centralization, and those stuff. And this is how we will handle things like MetaMask going on off or offline for our users. So Rok, can you maybe just explain a bit what we are doing in that regards and how we are handling these things?
So it's like good because we're not dependent on some defaults from the MetaMask, because once we switch the scale, we now have we have our own network of nodes, we have our own RPCs. Like, we're the ones that decide who can do it, and like that's the whole point. We need to do what's best for our platform. So we put everyone the RPCs, and it's like simple. We don't want our users to don't have access to our platform.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are not only working with MetaMask, right? So we're implementing other wallets right now. So Coinbase wallet actually works already, but we just need to change the button because it's now says only MetaMask. But if you have,
I mean, I think we didn't have time to check like every wallet that exists out there, but the app is written like it should work with the most most Ethereum based wallets. Like, I mean, the good thing in the this blockchain space and the chains that are similar to Ethereum, or like forks of it or copies of it, is that they have the same protocol, like same RPC. So we're not dependent on one wallet. We can use MetaMask. You can use Coinbase wallet. You can use any wallet that supports the basic Ethereum RPC. So we're not dependent on anyone. That's like perfect. And the whole protocol is open source. I mean, if we want it, or if we will see a need for it, we can make our own wallet. Like, it's nothing stopping anybody to make his own wallet. Everything is open source. The code is there, instructions are there, everything is public. So it's like really
eventually even run our own node that will connect, right?
Yeah, that's definitely I mean, once we have a telecom ready, I can imagine that in every country we open, we have a one node, because this is like perfect. We have 5 or 10 telecoms over the Africa, and every one of them hosts one node. This is like perfect in terms of decentralization, in terms of speed to the network and everything. Like, you don't need to go to the other part of the world to get the response to your request.
Wow, thank you. Rok, when will be your next trip to Africa?
Don't know yet, actually. We'll see how the plans go.
Dubai, right?
Maybe I should ask Sandi.
First is the trip to Dubai.
Okay.
And then we'll see how it goes with Africa. I hope as soon as possible, because I really like it down there. I mean, the weather is nice. I like the cultural switch a bit, so
yeah,
it's nice to go there.
Yes, it is. Do we have to give any more answers or explain anything more before we finish it?
From my side, we're good.
You're good.
But I don't see the chat at all, so I don't know what was happening in the chat. Mine shows blank. Chat restream IO took too long to respond, and I don't want to refresh the page right now because then I'm offline, I think.
Yeah. Well, there were some questions, but we managed to, I think, answer them all.
Yeah.
And I don't think we left anything out. Some opinions about Rok, his work, and about the conversation that we have about education and stuff like that. So thank you for cooperating, and thank you for commenting and for the questions. And of course, don't forget to be a part of our communities. We're always there on Discord, on Telegram, and on Twitter all the time. And then on next Wednesday, we will be here again at 5 p.m. Central European Time to give you more information and to be answering your questions. So thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, Sandi. Thank you, Rok. Have a nice day. Sandi, we're looking forward to all the information about what will be going on. And we'll be live again next Wednesday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.